So my name is Anna, and with my husband Dave, who's not here tonight, we just finished a 3-year long trip. We started by biking in Africa for 16 months, and then we traveled in the Americas for another 16 months by public transportation. We were interested in environmental projects. I could sum up our trip in 2 ways. The first way would be, oh my God, the level of environmental destruction on this planet is really scary. Deforestation, desertification, climate change, all those things are real issues that people all over the world are facing every day. The other way I could sum up our trip is, oh my God, the world is so beautiful. There are so many amazing people everywhere doing wonderful things, investing time and power in their communities to try to make this world a better place. So to get back to our trip, when we cycled from Kenya down to South Africa, from South Africa back up to Malawi, we had a lot of time to think and to meet a lot of people, read a lot of books, and really, frankly, be quite depressed about the problems. They're not issues that are particular to Africa. I think it should be noted that those issues are global. And we decided that in order to stay happy and be sane, the most important thing was to focus on the positive. And the positive are the solutions. And we knew that the solutions existed because we'd seen them. And we knew that those solutions just mostly depend on willpower. So, for example, meet the cyclist organization in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Basically, those people there are living in extreme poverty and depend on their bikes for their livelihood. And the security is really bad in Dar es Salaam, so they decided to get organized and to put pressure on the government to have bike lanes installed and better security. This is a school in Uganda where parents, teachers, and students grow their food together in a permaculture way, and they better the nutrition for the kids who then do better in school. So those are just some of the examples of beautiful things we saw in Africa. So we decided that maybe better than biking, it would be to film the people and make short web documentaries about those environmental solutions that we would meet on our way in our trip, in the second part of the trip in the Americas. So this is us with Euphemia. I will tell you more about her. So we started in New York, and as we crossed the US, we saw plenty of beautiful associations and environmental initiatives, one of them being the Transition Initiative, where local neighborhoods come together and trying to find ways to live lives that depend less on oil. Or I could tell you about this group of hundreds of families in Ecuador who came together and organized this network with pretty much $0 to save seeds. So they plant heirloom plants and then they save the seeds and exchange them in their network, saving the biodiversity of their country. Meet the oldest and the youngest customer of a market organized by farmers who decided to transition to organic agriculture and to sell their produce to poorer communities in their city. Meet here a small company in Guatemala who is working on trying to develop efficient wooden cook stoves who would use obviously less wood, produce less smoke, and so be better for the wives cooking and the children in the house, and also producing biogas units that you can put on your roof. We were also lucky to meet this indigenous community who had been fighting for decades against oil companies to preserve their ancestral land. Sadly, they lost their land, but they decided that that was not the end of the fight. And they decided to raise some money, and actually a lot of money, but they managed it, and they bought 2,000 hectares of land that they are now protecting and inviting everybody who wants to learn about natural medicine to go and visit them. So those are some of the many, many projects we've seen, and some of the many projects we haven't seen but that are existing all over. So we finished our trip in Rio Because in June 2012, there was the Rio Plus 20 summit. You might have heard of it or not. It was a failure, so, you know, I don't think we should expect any sort of governmental action on an international level. So, should we despair and start crying, or should we just act? I suggest we act, and we try to do this, solve this on our own. The good news is the solutions exist. Plenty of people are already applying them in their lives, in their communities, and we should just not wait for some magical technology that will come and save us. We should just apply good ideas that are being applied in work all over the world, and we live in this fantastic time where we have all the information of the world right at the tip of our hands. So if you want to learn how to grow your food, if you want to learn how to preserve water, it's all on the internet. And probably also in local associations all around you. In Belgium or in any other country of the world, you will find seed savers, you will find transition initiatives, you will find cycling associations, you will find people who are already active. And all that they are waiting for is you and me to join in the fight. And sometimes when I feel like, you know, things are a little bit too slow, and things are not moving fast enough, I remember that 3 years ago, before we left on our trip, there was no Arab Spring, there was no Occupy Wall Street movement, and none of those students' movements that we're seeing all over the world. People are angry, and they're right to be angry, but we should redirect this anger towards solutions. So I'm just gonna finish with Euphemia, our friend from Chiapas. Euphemia, she doesn't have a lot of money. She doesn't have a lot of education. She lives in a very small village in the middle of nowhere. And she decided that climate change was an issue and that she was going to take responsibility for it. And so she planted 200 hectares of forest. No money, no education, no governmental help. So I just have one question, just one. What is our excuse? Thank you.